Calaroga Shark Media.
From our Hamptons house, where we're all hungover, this is Ballot.
That's right. A holiday weekend means it's entirely possible we pre-taped Monday. Let's hit this. Jaws was right. Don't go into the water. Hi, I'm Patrick Gutfield, and a man who helped rescue a 9-year-old girl from a shark attack is now facing deportation after being arrested by ICE just 3 days later. Luis Alvarez, 31, was one of 3 construction workers who rushed to help Leah Lendl after she was bitten by a shark in Boca Grande, Florida. Alvarez literally jumped into shark-infested waters to help pull the girl to safety. One of his colleagues said he went deep underwater, not even caring about the shark. The girl underwent 6 hours of emergency surgery, and doctors were able to reattach her hand. 3 days after this heroic rescue, Alvarez was pulled over for driving without headlights at 1:37 in the morning in Immokalee, Florida. When asked for his license, he showed the officer a photo of his U.S. employment authorization document on his phone. A records check showed he'd never been issued a driver's license in the United States. So now he's being held by ICE for allegedly being in the country illegally since December 2022. The timing here is absolutely incredible. This guy risks his life to save a child from a shark attack, and within 72 hours, he's in federal custody facing deportation. That's either the worst luck in the world or the most twisted sense of justice imaginable. Alvarez had been arrested 4 times previously in Lee County for driving without a license, which suggests this wasn't exactly a surprise to local law enforcement. But the fact that he was working construction with an employment authorization document indicates he was at least trying to follow the legal process. His colleague Raynell Lugo told reporters, "He's a real decent guy," which is probably the understatement of the year. Most people wouldn't jump into water with an 8-foot shark to save a stranger's child, but this guy did it without hesitation. ICE says Alvarez entered the country illegally, but he had work authorization documents, which suggests he was at least trying to navigate the system. The fact that he was working construction and paying fines for traffic violations shows he wasn't exactly hiding from authorities. The University of Pennsylvania has agreed to ban transgender women from competing on women's sports teams following a federal investigation that found the school violated Title IX. The case centered on Lia Thomas, the transgender swimmer who became the first known transgender woman to win a Division I title during the 2021-22 season. The Education Department found that Penn violated federal law when it allowed Thomas to compete on the women's swim team and use associated facilities. Under the agreement reached Tuesday, the school has to restore all individual swimming records that had been awarded to Thomas back to the female athletes who previously held them. Penn updated its record books Tuesday, changing the record holder for 3 events: the 100, 200, and 500 freestyle. The school's website now notes that Thomas had held those records competing under eligibility rules in effect at the time, which is the academic equivalent of putting an asterisk next to Barry Bonds' home run record. The university also has to send apology letters to all affected swimmers and issue a public statement about its new policy. Penn President J. Larry Jameson said he was pleased to make the deal with federal officials, adding that if the investigation had gone unresolved, it could have had significant and lasting implications. That's administrator speak for, "We didn't want to lose our federal funding." Education Secretary Linda McMahon called the agreement a great victory for women and girls, which is quite a statement from someone who used to be in the professional wrestling business. Thomas swam on Penn's men's team for 3 years before transitioning to the women's team. As of March, Penn no longer had any transgender athletes competing on women's teams, which makes this whole agreement feel a bit like closing the barn door after the horse has already left and graduated.
What if everything you've been taught about happiness is wrong? We chase careers, approval, more stuff, hoping it'll finally make us feel fulfilled, but it never sticks. What if happiness isn't out there, but already inside you, just waiting to be unlocked? Discover the book, The Happiness Experiment. Every person has a unique happiness type, and when you understand yours, everything shifts. You'll stop chasing and start creating joy on your own terms. Discover your happiness type with a free happiness type assessment. Go to myhappinnesstype.com. That's myhappinnesstype.com. It takes just a minute and it might change your life. Then grab your copy of The Happiness Experiment at Books A Million. This isn't just a book, it's a practical framework, a journey inward. It's a tool to help you reconnect with the happiness that's been waiting inside you all along. Pick up The Happiness Experiment and start your happiness experiment today.
So there's a new crime wave hitting New York City, and it's not what you'd expect. Forget pickpockets and purse snatchers. Criminals are now just walking into stores and stealing entire ATM machines. And I mean the whole machine, not the money inside, the actual 200-pound metal box. Picture this. 3 guys roll up to a grocery store in Queens at 3 in the morning. They disable the security cameras, break down the door, and then just pick up the ATM and carry it out. The whole thing takes 5 minutes. 5 minutes. I've spent longer trying to get my Metro card to work. The machine was wedged between shelves of pita bread and potato chips, which honestly sounds like the world's most disappointing heist movie. Ocean's 11, Convenience Store Edition. These particular thieves hit 39 locations from September through January. That's more consistent than the subway schedule. Police suspect they made off with over $500,000, which is impressive until you realize they had to physically carry each machine out like they're moving furniture for the world's worst roommate. One crew got caught because they led police on a high-speed chase that ended when they crashed their van into a barrier at LaGuardia Airport. LaGuardia. Even criminals can't figure out how to navigate that place properly. And here's the thing. Store owners keep getting new ATMs even after they're stolen. One guy said if he doesn't have an ATM, customers just go to a different corner. So now, small business owners are basically trapped in an abusive relationship with cash machines. Sure, it might get stolen and destroy my store, but what if someone needs $20? Portions of today's show were made with the help of AI. Now stick around for this bonus interview. See you tomorrow.
I'm so excited to talk to you, Carl. Talk to me, a guy who's had this illustrious business career. What made you decide to write a book on happiness? You could have gone in some of the other directions.
Well, actually, I didn't, Donnie. I didn't decide to write a book. Something happened. This happiness experiment happened in real life, in real terms. I had no idea about writing a book, but I saw it working. The experiment was working. My friends and family were getting happier. They're increasing their happiness. And I saw it, so I thought, I need to write about this. And so that's when I got into writing the book.
And talk to me about pre-questing. Talk to me what it's about and how it's the foundation of things.
Well, it came about through 3 major things that happened in my life. One, I almost died in a plane crash. If you read the book, you'll find out whether I survived or not. Okay. The other thing that happened was I got a call from my sister in England. She told me her husband was dying. He had 6 months to live. So I flew to England, and she was in my will. And I said, Janet, you're in my will as a bequest, but that's something you need right now. So I'm going to make it a prequest. I'm going to bring that bequest forward and pay it to you now while you can enjoy it and your husband can fulfill his last wishes. She was overjoyed, burst into tears, of course, and said, oh, this is great. My brother was there at the same time. I said, Barry, since I've done this for my sister, I'm going to bring your bequest forward and make it a prequest. And he said, oh, that's fabulous. Thank you very much. You're very generous. His wife went ballistic. She said, this is too much money. It's wrong. I don't want anything to do with it, and stormed out of the room. So that was a real surprise. Anyhow, she got over it. And the next thing that happened is I looked at my investments. I got a lot of money sitting in investments, not doing anything. It wasn't working for me, wasn't working for my friends. So I said, why don't I use this money for my own success and happiness, and also for my friends, the people that helped me get to be wealthy and successful. That's what I did.
So it's not a one-time thing. This is kind of a lifetime experiment, if you will.
Yeah, it turned out that way because I didn't want to just give people money and say, be happy. I said, I want this to enrich your life, be something special. So I'd like you to think about it, plan something, write a happiness plan. They asked, what's a happiness plan? I said, when I get that, I'll give you all the money, and let's see how it works out.
So you talk about coaching and grants to reshape and change lives, which is timely given what's going on in the world today.
Yeah, and the thing is that it wasn't just about the money, Donnie. The money's important. We love money. It's good to have it. But what really worked with these people was the planning with a happiness coach. They thought about carefully what they wanted to do that's going to enrich their life, make them happier, what things they love, things that they were fascinated with. And they wrote all that down with a happiness coach. They had a plan. And as soon as I got the plan, I said, here's the money, all of it. It's all yours. You don't owe me anything, no strings attached. And they went off and started becoming happier.
It's incredible. So the inspiration for this was just your near-death experience?
Well, that was part of it, but it was a number of things that happened. First off, I was very, very grateful for the people that helped me to become successful. And being grateful is terrific. Okay, we love that.
Yeah.
We talk about gratitude and gratitude journaling, all those sort of things. But the real thing is expressing the gratitude, telling somebody how much you care about them, appreciating what they did for you, writing a letter. It doesn't have to be about money. It can be possessions. It can be money. It can be attention. It can be time. It can be knowledge, your wisdom that you share with younger people. But it's what you're doing while you're still alive that counts. When you're dead, it's over.
It's such a simple but brilliant point. And how do you think? Let's say play this out that people kind of really buy into this intentional happiness and pre-questing. How does the world become a better place? Let's take this up 10,000 feet.
Well, it would be great. The reason I wrote the book is I want this idea to get into the world, so that certainly the wealthy people, they can do the pre-questing, make themselves and their friends and family happier right now while they're still alive. The other thing, I want the book to show how these people planned, thought about their happiness, created a happiness plan, and then worked it and to become happier. And others can learn from their experiences, reading their plans and then doing the same thing. And in the back of my book, there's a workbook which goes through that step by step and a plan to increase your happiness.
How do we get this into the workplace, into schools, and kind of really, to your point, get this in there?
You know, that would be lovely. If it went into the schools, and I think in high schools, this would be a really good subject to put on the curriculum. What is happiness? How do you achieve happiness? What's it all about?
What is happiness?
It's a great question. You have to read my book. But in short, emotion, we all know what happiness is. It's feeling good. It's joyful. It's exhilaration. It's loving life. So it is a feeling, but it's also a mindset. You have to think that I deserve happiness.
Yeah.
I want to be happy. I'm taking my happiness seriously. So it's heart and mind, not just one or the other. So it's that combination. But really, I give a whole chapter in the book on what is happiness, and it's a great chapter. You'll love the book.
Now, a lot of people, I cannot wait to read it. I'm so excited. I'm like just turned on listening to you. A lot of people equate happiness to financial success and things. And what am I going to learn in the book about that?
Well, money is important. Okay, let's get that off the table. But it's not going to buy you happiness. The good use of money is really important, how you do it. But it's the mindset, it's the pursuit of happiness that counts. Taking your happiness seriously, wanting what you want, and what you want is important. Your dreams, your purposes in life, what you want to achieve in your career, what you want to with your family, what you want to achieve, the purposes all around, and what you value. Are you pursuing those values? Are you living those values? This is what it's all about. Money helps, but it's all those other spiritual things, if you like, psychological things that are really the root of happiness. And as we all know, some people are very rich and they're very unhappy. And there's
a lot of people
that are really happy.
I would say money can solve problems, but it can't buy you happiness. But you certainly can throw it at problems. But that's about the extent of it. So let's play this out. How does right now the world could use this more than ever? So let's say if I just did this fantasy and said, okay, everybody's gonna do this pre-quest, everybody's gonna do the happiness planning. How does the world look different?
Well, as you know, Donnie, when you're happy, your family tends to be happy. Your friends are happier. And happiness ripples, it spreads. And if this idea gets into the world, which I'm working very hard to do, get it into the world, talking to you, because you're going to buy lots of these books and you're going to tell all your friends about it, right?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
If this goes, it spreads, it ripples. It doesn't stay just with you. It goes down to your family, to your friends, and to your community. And if a lot of wealthy people did this, and it's not just about wealth, it's possessions, it's time, it's love, it's wisdom that we can share with others while we're still alive, here and now. And if that gets into the world, and there's a lot of people start doing this, then the happiness level in the world will increase little by little, and I'd be very happy about that.
Mr. Barney, it's been inspirational talking to you. I am going to get this book immediately. I could recommend it just based on what we've talked about to anybody because we all could use a little happiness. I appreciate you taking the time.
Happy to be here. Thanks, Donnie.
You can call me James. I spent 23 years designing aircraft that officially don't exist for agencies you think TV made up. Until I started asking the wrong questions. Navy ships are recording objects moving at impossible speeds. Infrastructure is failing in coordinated patterns. The moon looks smaller than it did 10 years ago. None of this is a coincidence. The official explanations don't add up. This is Paranormal Aliens, where we connect the dots they don't want connected. If you're hearing this, you know where to get podcasts. Follow Paranormal Aliens. New episodes weekly until they shut me down.
Hey, my name is John Podhoretz. I'm the host of the Commentary Magazine Daily Podcast. We try every day to give you a sense of where America is, where the world is, where Donald Trump is, where the Democrats are, where the Republicans are, where American society is and where it's headed. Lively, significant, important topics of discussion. Please subscribe, Apple, Spotify, wherever you find podcasts, the Commentary Magazine Daily Podcast.